Okay, and we are back with more of Learn Russian with Learn Russian. So we finished lesson 1. Let's move on to lesson 2. Who is it? What is it? Nouns and their gender. So this lesson is actually fairly easy. I think it might even be easier than the first one. It basically focuses on the difference between кто and что. So this letter in Russian usually makes a ch sound, like chair, but there are a few cases where it makes a sh sound, and this is one of them. It's more like a что. So кто means who, and что means what. So basically, this is about the difference between people and objects. Should be pretty straightforward, right? Actually, it is. It's pretty easy. So here are key phrases. Добрый день, good day. Доброе утро, good morning. Добрый вечер, good evening. Привет, пока, which mean hello and goodbye. And then здравствуйте as a formal form of hello, and до свидания as a formal form of goodbye. Как дела means how's it going, and then спасибо, хорошо. It's kind of funny. In English, usually when somebody asks you how are you doing, you first answer, and then at the end you tack on a thank you. In Russian, it's the other way around. In Russian, you say first thank you, and then you say okay. So, oh, thank you, I'm doing fine. Yeah, here we have утро, morning, день, day, вечер, evening, and ночь, night. Okay, and here's our first actual exercise. So we need to listen to the audio and write in the correct word. Use task 1 and the on-screen keyboard. Okay, I did actually set up the Russian keyboard layout, so I should be able to type using my keyboard this time. Let's see if that works properly. So here we have
День.
день. So that's day. And here we have
Ночь.
ночь. That is night. So let me switch to trying to type with my keyboard here. And let's see, there we go, there's notch. And I think notch has, yes, it has the mягкий знак on the end, which is a sign that by itself has no sound, but which signifies that the letter preceding it should be pronounced in a palatalized fashion. So yeah, I'm actually typing using the Russian keyboard layout on my keyboard now. I would recommend you do the same if you really want to, like if you really properly want to learn Russian. If you're just dabbling a bit, then okay, it doesn't matter too much. But if you really want to get into Russian, you'll want to learn to type using the Cyrillic layout. I'm still not very good at it. I actually don't have the labels on my keys. I'm just kind of typing blind. I just have to remember where the keys are, which is even more challenging. If you want, you can, at most office supply shops, you can probably buy little stickers for your keyboard to put on the keys to show you where the letters are, but it is definitely more challenging if you just try to do it from memory. Anyway, so that's what I do now, and I apologize if I stumble around. Sometimes I stumble around with Cyrillic because I'm not sure where a certain letter is still, but we'll see. I don't think that should be too much of a problem most of the time. Anyway, moving on.
Утро.
Утро. Here again, the O is not stressed. If it was stressed, it would be утро. But because the O is not stressed, it's pronounced more like an A, so this word is утро. So pretty straightforward. Ooh. Where's ooh? There we go. There's ooh. Утро. There we go. And then by process of elimination, I'm going to assume the last one must be вечер.
Вечер.
Indeed. It is вечер, so we put in, there we go. And that was successful. Okay, that wasn't too hard. All right, now we have to слушайте и закончите диалоги. So we have to listen to and then закончите the dialogue. Yes. So let's go ahead and listen in.
Добрый день. Привет, меня зовут Джеймс. А тебя? Пол. Очень приятно.
So, добрый день, good day. He did say добрый день, right?
Добрый день.
Yes, he did. Okay. So once again, we have our words over here on the right-hand side, and we can drag день into there. Okay. And now we have another dialogue. This is, they're listed up here, so you can switch between them using these buttons up here. So the second dialogue begins now, and you can read it here. We just need to fill in the missing word.
Добрый день, Джеймс.
Привет, Джейн. Как дела?
Спасибо, хорошо. А у тебя?
Тоже нормально, спасибо.
So the gentleman is named James, and the woman is named Jane. Yes, they were not very imaginative when they were coming up with this, but that's okay. So again, they said добрый день, good day. And again, by process of elimination, since there's only one word remaining here, I'm going to assume that they must be saying доброе утро here, good morning. But let's go ahead and listen to the dialogue anyway.
Доброе утро.
Здравствуйте.
Как дела?
Спасибо, хорошо. А у вас?
Тоже хорошо, спасибо.
Notice that they're saying, first of all, instead of saying привет, they said здравствуйте, which is a more formal greeting. And then instead of saying тебе, which would be the more informal way of saying things, they say у вас. So it's вы instead of ты, which means that they are on more formal terms with each other. So they're not really like close friends. They're not dating or anything, or like not close friends. They're just acquaintances. So this is Доброе утро. And we should have, yes, now we have a green check mark up there to show that we did this task. All right, moving on. More filling in the blanks after listening to dialogues. Let's see how this goes. This one has more blanks in it now. And we have, yes, we have 2 dialogues here to listen to.
Добрый день, Владимир Петрович.
Здравствуйте, Таня. Как дела?
Спасибо, хорошо. А у вас?
Все нормально, спасибо.
So, okay, let's listen a second time and try to fill in the blanks as we go.
Добрый день, Владимир Петрович.
Okay, добрый день. So she says, good day. This is a common way to address people in a slightly... Yeah, it's not really considered very formal, but if you're being a bit more polite, you might refer to somebody by their first name and their patronymic name, which is usually the name that they got from their father. So this guy's name is Vladimir, and then probably his father was named Petrov or something like that, and so he got the name from his father. So neither of these are his last name. This is his first and kind of his... I guess you can think of it as his middle name in English terms, but in Russian it's called like the patronymic name. So she's calling him Vladimir Petrovich, and he's just calling her Tanya, if I caught it right. Yeah, I mean, he mentioned her name, and Tanya is the only name in these options on the right here, so her name must have been Tanya. So he says, Здравствуйте, Tanya, how are you? And she says, yes, first she says, Спасибо. Again, you say thank you, and then you say how you are. А у вас? And he said, Все нормально. So everything is normal, which is typical in Russian. You don't say everything is great. In Russian, you're never doing great. You're not doing good or great or peachy keen. You're just normal. This is typical sort of Russian understatement. This is normal style in Russian when you're exchanging how are yous with Russian people. Okay, now we have a second dialogue.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Петр Сергеевич, а вас?
Очень приятно. Меня зовут Иван Алексеевич. Я директор фирмы «Автопром».
Очень приятно. А я редактор журнала «Новости».
Okay, so, Здравствуйте, меня зовут, my name is, so let's take the зовут from here. His name is Pyotr Sergeyevich. And this gentleman says, Очень приятно. Very, very pleasant, very nice to meet you. Меня зовут Ivan Alexeyevich, yeah. And then he said he was the director. He is the director of the firm Автопrom. Not sure what, I guess some kind of car company probably, because Auto is like auto. So, okay, he's director of the firm Автопrom. And then by process of elimination, we know this last word here is redactor. Redactor is an editor. So he's the editor of the magazine or newspaper Novosti. And that should be it. Yes, we have the check mark, so we got everything correct. Very nice. Okay, so far so good. So now we antonym, just like in English, antonym is opposite. So yeah, antonym. So the opposite of привет is пока. Привет is hello, and пока is goodbye. In the informal sense. And now here we have more formal. So, до свидания means goodbye in a formal setting, which means that the opposite of that should be здравствуйте. Okay, I hope that that's correct. Доброе утро, what's the opposite of good morning? Probably good night or good evening. Добрый вечер is our option there. And then нет, obviously the opposite of no is the, yes. Okay, again, pretty easy. I think that was not too challenging. And now we come to the кто and что. So this is Maria. Это Maria. So if you want to say who is that, you say кто это. But a house, это дом, house, this is obviously not a person, it's an inanimate object. So it's not a who, it's a what. So что это? Это дом. And then same thing here. This is, amusingly enough, when it says who is that, the answer is simply it's brother. Not clear if that means... It's not really obvious. Is that supposed to mean a brother or my brother? I mean, you can say moj brat, which means my brother, but it just says это брат. It's a brother. Not brat, as you might. Doesn't mean he's a brat. Brat is Russian for brother. And then what's that? It's C. So yeah, in Russian, all nouns fall into two categories, animate and inanimate, which, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. This is basically the same as in English. People are a who, and objects are a what. I am not sure how they're going to handle pets. I don't think pets show up in this lesson, so it's not really an issue right now. Oh yeah, here we go. So, who is also used for animals. So if you're, I'm not sure if they ever refer to animals as a what. Do they say, yeah, like you could say of an animal, what is that as well? I mean, if it's your pet, like if it's your dog or cat and the dog or cat has a name, you might say who. But if it's just some random wild animal, you'd probably say what. So it basically works the same as in English. It's not really any different from how we handle that in English. So again, not too complicated. So, okay, very simple. Now we have to choose кто или что, who or what. So we have to drag these under these two headings. So we start with babushka, which is grandmother. Is grandmother a who or a what? Obviously, grandmother is a person, so she's a who. Dom, house, is an inanimate object. Sekretar is a person. Stol is a table, inanimate object. Жена is that's wife, isn't it? Now I'm pretty sure that is wife. So that should be then a who and not a what. Bilet is a ticket. So that is obviously an object. Director, the director is a person. Семья. Семья may be a bit tricky because your family, семья is family. Obviously, your family is made up of people, but the family itself is treated as a что and not a who. So your family itself is treated as an object. A photo is an inanimate object. Your sister, сестра, is a person. Газета, newspaper, is a thing. Ekran, what is ekran? Don't know what that is. Sorry, but it's an object. Papa, your father or daddy, is a who. Computer is also an object. Kot is a cat. It is treated as a who. And then firma, company, is a what. Okay. I apologize again. I'm not Russian, and I don't even speak Russian that well, so there are some words that escape me. So I will also sometimes say some stupid things or miss some things or not know some things. So again, I'm doing this more about getting the correct answers to the questions, and then if there's anything missing, if there's anything unclear after we're done, then we can do a bit of research afterwards. But anyway. Moving on. Что это? So now here this is just pure vocabulary. Here we have some inanimate objects and we need to match the words to the pictures. So this is a window. I mean, there's also a windowsill and a plant, so I'm going to guess the word that they want to go for is just the window itself, which is окно. So that is an окно. And a door is a дверь. Where's дверь here? Here, there's дверь. And computer is very simply компьютер. A chair is a stool. I know in English a stool is a specific type of chair, but in Russian, stool is the general word for a chair. And a stol with an O, don't mix them up. Stool is a chair, stol is a table. And water is voda, which some people find it amusing that this is only one letter away from vodka. So vodka, take away the K and you get voda, water. Okay, and coffee, coffee. And this is, it's tea, I guess. Yes, so tea in Russian is chai, as it is in several other languages, I believe. Sugar is sahar. Money is деньги. And this is, what is a clock? Hold on. Now I am actually, once again, somewhat embarrassingly at a loss. What is a clock in Russian? That is a chassis. Okay. Didn't want to get that mixed up because chas is also a drinking mug, isn't it? Or something. No, wait. Chas Chasa is also hour. That's right. Chasa is hour, and it's also used for a clock. Believe that's the case. Okay, glasses are ochki, and a purse like that is yeah, that's a sumka. Yes, and a newspaper is a gazeta. That's easy because gazette is also an English word. This is a not a newspaper but a magazine, so that's a journal. Like a journal, obviously, pretty straightforward. Book is kniga. And finally, a pen is a ruchka. Okay, that wasn't too bad, I suppose. All right, more filling in the blanks with dialogue. This one is, okay, these two are a bit longer. So let's listen in and see what's going on.
Привет, Марк. Как дела?
Нормально, Семен. А у тебя?
Тоже нормально. Что это?
Это фото. Это моя семья.
Интересно. А это кто?
Это сестра. Она юрист. Это брат. Он архитектор.
А это что?
Это не что, а кто. Это я.
Хм-хм.
Yes, important Russian words. Okay, so let's start at the beginning and make our way through the dialogue.
Привет, Марк. Как дела?
Привет, Mark. Как дела? Hello, Mark. How are you? So here is как дела?
Нормально, Семен. А у тебя?
So this gentleman's name is Semyon, obviously kind of like Simon or Simeon. So normal Simon, and how are you? So let's take the нормально from here and put it up there. Normal Simon, and with you, and because he's saying у тебя, that means that they are good friends. They're being informal with each other. So тоже нормально, and then he says, I think he said что это?
Тоже нормально. Что это?
Yeah, что это? So what is that? And then
Это фото.
это фото. It is a photo. So that is a photo. That is my family.
Это моя семья.
Интересно. А это кто?
So interesting. And who is that? He says, and that is who, but obviously it's the same thing, it's just a different wording.
Это сестра.
Oh, he found the sister interesting. So that, again, he says, это сестра. He doesn't say, I'm pretty sure he can also say, это my сестра. It's my sister, but in this case, he's just saying, that is sister. I mean, what else do you need to say? So this guy found his sister interesting. She is a jurist, a lawyer. Это брат, that's my brother. He is, by process of elimination, I'm going to assume it must say he is an architect because on что wouldn't really make much sense. So he's an architect, not an architecture, but an architect. And what is that? That's not a what, but a who. So this guy says, that's me. Okay, and right away we go on to the second dialogue. So let's check this out.
Здравствуйте.
Добрый день.
Что это?
Это принтер, факс, копир, сканер.
Извините, что?
Это принтер, факс, копир, сканер. Все вместе.
Спасибо.
Okay, so the woman's talking to a salesman, and I guess she's a bit confused. So first, there's the usual greetings. So здравствуйте and добрый день. That part is, I think, pretty straightforward by now. And then she asks, what is that? And then he explains, it's a printer, a fax, copier, and a scanner. And then извините is like, excuse me. So she's like, excuse me what? Apparently she didn't quite catch it the first time. So he explains again, it is a printer, a fax, a copier, and a scanner. And she says, oh, great, thanks. So, and we have our check mark to confirm that that is correct. Okay, new grammar. Okay, gender endings of a noun. Yes, this is good to know. Yeah, this is actually pretty important. You'll want to get used to these endings. So generally, when a Russian verb ends in a consonant, it's masculine. It's on. Um, if you don't already know, I guess now is a good time to explain quickly. In many languages, like for example in Spanish, you can guess the gender of a noun by its ending. So for example, in Spanish you have words like gato, for example, and by the ending, because it ends in O, you know it's el gato. Even if you don't remember whether it's masculine or feminine, you can tell from the ending. Whereas words like casa, which end in A, are feminine because generally all nouns that end in A are feminine in Spanish. This makes things a lot easier in Spanish than in, let's say, in French or in German. In French and German, nouns also have genders, but there's no way to know what the gender is unless you just know what it is for that word. If you know what it is for that word, then okay, fine. But there's no way to guess, whereas in Spanish, you don't have to remember. You can tell it from the ending of the noun. This comes from Latin, and Russian has been inspired somewhat by Latin, which is why it does something similar, because you can see here it's doing basically the same thing as in Spanish. If a noun ends in A, then it's feminine. So words like strana, mama, and semya, okay, semya doesn't end in A, but it ends in ya. These words are then feminine, and words that end in O or ye are usually neutral, and then plural usually ends in e or I, and then it's ani, meaning they. There are some exceptions to these. A notable exception we've already seen. Where was it? Where did we have coffee? Common example in Russian is, yes, coffee. Кофе. It ends in E, and so you'd think because of that, according to this, things that end in E are neutral, so it should be, coffee should be neutral, right? But no, it's actually masculine. Coffee is a noun that sort of breaks these rules because even though it ends in E, it's masculine anyway. And there are a few nouns that do that, so for some cases, you still have to just know. There are some nouns that will kind of trip you up, and if you get it wrong, don't feel too bad, because I'm told that even native Russian speakers sometimes get this wrong. Even native Russians sometimes incorrectly say кофе as if it were neutral, even though it's actually masculine, because they're so used to words that end in E being neutral. They're just so used to using it that way. So it can get confusing even for native Russian speakers, so don't feel too bad if you miss it. But yeah, words like that are generally words in Russian. You can tell the gender by looking at the last letter. And there are some words that are exceptions, and you just have to know what those words are. But you'll hopefully get used to it with time. Okay, and this is it. This is the last exercise in the lesson. So again, we just have to know, for most of these we can guess based on the last letter, but I think there might be some tricks here, some tricky words here. But for each of these we have to decide, is it on, masculine, ana, feminine, ono, neutral, or ani, plural. So let's go ahead and, again, I have a list here with me, so I'm kind of cheating, but I'll go ahead and try to go through these reasonably. So город is a city, that is masculine, it ends in a consonant. Strana is a country, that is feminine, ends in A. Деньги, what is деньги? Деньги is actually treated as plural, because you can't really have one money, but деньги is kind of like a substance, so yeah. Деньги is plural, it's они. Site, I guess like a website, it's masculine. Metro ends in O, it is neutral per the rule. Семья, it ends in ya, so it is feminine per the rule. Hotel, yeah, that ends in a consonant. Well, it ends in a mягкий знак, but it doesn't really. Yeah, it can be kind of tricky. Sometimes words that end in this soft sign can get a little bit confusing, because I think there is a different set of rules for them. But don't worry about it too much right now. Hotel is masculine. Дедушка, that is. Yeah, this is quite confusing because it ends in A, and so you'd think that it should be feminine based on that, but dedushka is grandfather. I'm pretty sure that's grandfather, and so because grandfather is masculine, he's treated as masculine even though it ends in A. So there's another exception. There's another word that might trip you up if you're not aware of it. And again, what's really frustrating about this is there's really no good way of knowing without looking it up. If you're here and if you're just basing it on this, then you really wouldn't know. You really wouldn't know that unless you go looking it up. So this is one of the reasons why this website can be so extremely frustrating sometimes, and why I'm making these videos. So ochki, ochki was glasses, wasn't it? I believe so. Yeah, it's plural in any case. Lampa, a lamp. Okay. Feminine because it ends in A. Minijer, that is masculine. Magazine. Magazine, amusingly enough, is not a magazine. It is a store. If you go shopping in a store, you go shopping in a magazine. A magazine is a journal, but a magazine is a store. It ends in a consonant. It is masculine. Casino ends in an O. It is neutral. Jeansy is jeans. It is plural, and so it goes under they. It's a plural. Parole. Parole is a password. If you're logging into a website or something and you need to enter in your username and your parole. Ulica is a street. Ends in A. It is feminine. Director is masculine. Utro ends in O. It is neutral. Chassis is, that was again, yeah, wasn't that a clock? That's kind of, is it clock or is it hours? I'll have to look that up. I apologize. I'm actually a bit confused about chassis now, but I know that this exercise considers it plural in any case. So, document ends in consonant. It is masculine. Papa, again, papa, same as in English. Papa, your father or dad. It ends in A, but obviously dad is masculine, and so it goes under masculine. File. It is a file. This is masculine. Sistema ends in A. It is feminine. Pivo. I believe this is beer, isn't it? Pretty sure pivo is beer. Ends in O. It is neutral. Vchod. Entrance. It is masculine. Mama, again, same as in English, mother or mommy, obviously feminine. Bilet is masculine. Devushka is girl, it is feminine. Brat, brother, is masculine. Papka. What is papka? Okay, I apologize, I don't know what papka is, but that is feminine in any case. And then kanal, like a channel, is masculine. All right, there we go. Lesson completed. Okay, I did miss a few words. I will go and look those up myself, because I should also know what they are. But I hope that despite me not knowing a handful of words, I hope that this lesson was still reasonably informative and enlightening. So, yes, this has been genders in Russian, a very, very important subject. I guess that's why they covered it in only the second lesson. So, thank you for watching, everyone. I'm a bit embarrassed. I do feel a bit embarrassed, I have to admit, by my lack of comprehension, but hopefully we can still learn Russian in spite of my incompetence. So, all right. Again, thanks for watching, everyone, and I will hopefully see you folks later on in Lesson 3. Ta-ta for now.